Mayor Bloomberg will now deliver the commencement address.
Graduates, faculty, family, friends, jumbos, all of you. My official role here today is to be the first and probably the only one to say, hurrah, hurrah for the dear old brown and blue. President Bacow, thank you for those kind words. Actually, the President and I have a few things in common. I don't know that many of you know this. We were both Eagle Scouts. We are both ruggedly handsome. That was not the one you're supposed to laugh at. And we were both students of distinction. While President Bacow was at the top of his class, I was one of those students who made the top half of the class possible. Thank you for the honorary doctorate. My mother always wanted me to be a doctor. I grew up 10 minutes from here, and my father worked 5 minutes from here. And my mother still lives in the house I grew up in, and she said, well, since she was in the neighborhood, she'd come over to hear me speak. Mother, I hope I'm not embarrassing you. You should know that she dislikes the Yankees almost as much as most of you. Her reasons are different, however. She's never forgiven them for stealing Babe Ruth away when she was 10 years old. She also said that while she was here, if the people that live on Latin Way would please keep the noise down, she'd really appreciate it. Now, I know I wasn't your first choice as a speaker today, but that's okay. I can learn to live with that. When Busta Rhymes didn't show, I was only too happy to step in. All right, here we go. 5 principles. Principle number 1 in my new book is you got to take risks. And I think you've really learned that if you think about it from your time here. Whether it was asking somebody to go out on a date in the North End, enrolling in a tough course like Intro to IR, or calling your folks to ask them for more money, you really have to you took a lot of risks to get to this day, and you're going to have to keep doing that for the rest of your life. The second lesson is you can't do it alone. This is something you've learned from your time here. After all, teamwork is a major part of any group project. Whether you're singing harmony with the Bubs, the singing group here, or painting and guarding the cannon, every Little League coach, Sunday school teacher, scout leader has always told you all your life that teamwork counts. But I've got some bad news for you. The bad news is that it doesn't just count when you are young, it counts when you're an adult as well. You have to share the pain and the responsibility, and if you do, you will also share the rewards. In New York, I've tried to encourage teamwork in City Hall by literally tearing down the walls and forcing everybody to work in one big room so that they will interact better with one another. My senior staff calls it the bullpen. Everyone sits in a cubicle, including me. They didn't like it at the beginning, but today I think they would tell you it creates a lot of energy, it brings people together, and it also allows me to see whose lunch looks better than mine. But the third principle in all you really need to know you learned by commencement is give it to them straight. You know, you've probably heard your professors tell you over and over again, stick to the facts, and they're right. There is no better ways to make your point and win your argument. And even those who disagree with your conclusion will respect you for being honest and having the guts to tell it like it is. We've pursued a number of controversial things in New York by sticking to our guns and sticking to the facts, and I think we've won a lot of people over. What you've got to do is be honest. Say what you believe, give it to them straight, just don't wuss out. The fourth lesson, in the words of Ali G, is respect. Don't worry, I'm not going to start quoting Borat. Respect is so important, especially in times of conflict, and I think a lot of you here know what I'm talking about. This past December, the Primary Source, which is a campus magazine, printed some things that much of the community ardently disagreed with and many considered quite offensive. But instead of suppressing the publication, which might very well have happened on other campuses, and despite the emotion of the moment, I think the students and the faculty and all of Tufts University deserves an enormous amount of respect because you respected the rights of others to express themselves. You discussed the piece, you debated it, you picked it apart. It was a classic example of free speech versus free speech, and in that battle I've always thought everybody wins. This country and other campuses around the nation need more of that. In my generation, the one word of advice you gave to graduates was plastics. Your parents will have to explain that to you. But today I think the one word of advice should be the word respect. The fifth and final principle in the Bloomberg book is the more you give, the more you get. Now, Tufts has had an incredibly strong tradition of public service and volunteering. Through Tisch College and the Leonard Carmichael Society, most of you have experienced what it's like to get involved in the community and make a real difference. Don't lose that passion when you get out of here and go into the real world. Now, I've done a lot of cool things. I've thrown out the first pitch at both a Yankees and Mets game. I've dropped the ball in Times Square on New Year's Eve, and both Salma Hayek and Derek Jeter call me Mike. But those thrills really are fleeting, and believe it or not ultimately as fulfilling. The thrill that stays with you forever are the thrills of doing something and giving something back. It's perhaps the most important thing you can do with your life. But now, seriously, as somebody who's in a position to see up close the personal impact that public service can have, let me tell you, there's nothing you will ever do in your life that will give you as much satisfaction. If you go and help others, when you turn out the light every night, you'll have a big smile on the face for the rest of your life. So there it is, my 5 principles. Take risks, don't go it alone, give it to them straight, respect others, and give back. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be sideways. I can just tell you, I have been hired, I have been fired, I have been lauded, I've been vilified. I've said some of the most brilliant things that just by accident appeared on my tongue, and I've said some of the dumbest things that you can imagine. But each day, and even the day I knew I was going to get fired, I looked forward to, because I've always believed that tomorrow is going to be the best day of my life. Now, for you, it's going to be challenging at times, but the world evermore needs your talents, your ideas, your energy, your great enthusiasm. And you really need to know this. Everyone here is proud of you, and everyone knows that you have what it takes to find success and live out your dreams. So grab one last brew at the Joshua Tree today, because tomorrow the real work begins. Congratulations to all of you on this wonderful and joyous day. God bless.